plugged in as well. You know, plugging in is part of our Dare to Dream. That is number four. And the Dare to Dream is our four-step system to building momentum when you get started in business, right? And in order for you to find that Dare to Dream, guys, it's always important that you remember to go to and to send your people to www.teamunitytraining.com. Okay. But tonight is not about the Dare to Dream, even though we always should dare to dream, although we always should be looking to dreaming about more, dreaming about being better, dreaming about helping more people. It's all about our mindset and it's all about our vision. Okay. And that is what, our Sunday Night Vision Mastery Call is all about, just really expanding our vision. All right. So for those of you who may or may not know who I am, my name is Miss Nikki Alexandria, and I have been a part of the Unity Energy since 2015 under the direct leadership of one of the visionaries of Unity. And Unity, of course, stands for you and I together. Yes, because the truth is we can do so much more together than we can ever do apart. And I'm super excited because the gentleman that helped, shape my career in this industry and, someone that I met on social media as a stranger, but who has very well been instrumental in my success in business. I'm so grateful that he is with us this evening and that I get to present him to you all this evening. Now, of course, many of you already know who this gentleman is, and many of you may even know his background, which, of course, he's originally from New York. You know, he comes from humble beginnings, high school graduate, former U.S. paratrooper, blue collar working. And guys, the thing is, because of vision and because of a decision, okay, vision and decision, he decided he wanted something more for himself, his family, his people, his community, and went on to become, a very successful entrepreneur and a highly sought after coach, mentor, and speaker, and also being, again, one of the visionaries of Unity. All right. And so, guys, what I'm going to do, okay? I am just going to go ahead and move on out of the way of greatness because, I know we're going to have some amazing information tonight. And I want you all to make sure that you have your pen and your notebook ready to take copious notes because that's going to be important. And I'm going to go ahead and move on out of the way of greatness and bring to the line none other than the millionaire mentor himself, Mr. Jason L. Scott the first. Mr. Scott, have you made it to the line, sir?
Yes, I'm absolutely in line. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you and I can see you. Go ahead and take it away.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Listen, I'm super excited to be on this call today. As always, this is always an amazing time, an amazing opportunity working alongside you, the other leaders that we have. Matter of fact, I just realized that I didn't even cut my light back on. Let me get this light cut back on over here real quick. Give me a second. I'm over here talking, and I see that I'm kind of dark in the corner over here. Let me open this on up over here, get my lighting together a little bit over here. Yep. There we go. There we go. We both can't be in the dark over here talking. Listen, I'm super excited to be partnered with you on the call and on this journey, of course, for success and entrepreneurship and growth and everything else that it takes in order for a person to become very successful as an entrepreneur. So, you've been very instrumental in in growing the organization, the team, but also I've watched you yourself over the years take the information, take what we've been taught, to go on to not only have success for yourself, but help many other people also have success. Matter of fact, I know you've been coaching people by far, and one of your mentees had a chance to have an amazing meeting today herself, and was able to apply the strategies, the techniques, the things that you were able to teach, and was able to earn about $500 today. It got me and stuff. So that was amazing, because that takes leadership, that takes leadership development, that takes the person to not only just be about the thing, but say you about the thing, but actually go out there and instrument it and be instrumental into the growth of not just yourself, but the growth of other people. Because they always say that service to many leads to greatness, and you've been doing a great job of absolutely helping other people to become great. So I appreciate you as well. For everybody else on this call today, of course, welcome to our Sunday night vision mastery call. And, we've been doing a great thing with this call for about a decade or so, coaching and teaching people, going through entrepreneurship, going through mindset strategies. Our Sunday vision mastery has really been about personal growth and personal development. And I remember starting these calls years ago, and the calls were phone calls. The calls were not calls that we were doing on live. The calls were calls that we were doing, on phone calls. And as with people calling in from all over the U.S., people will call in to listen and hear. You will only have certain speakers that will be speaking, and you will be speaking based off of your production, based on the fact that you were producing. So you were teaching a thing based on the fact that you have produced. Nowadays, through social media and so many other ways, people start talking on social media, and they're talking. And I remember the first time when people started going live, several years back, I was thinking the same thing then. I said, a lot of people now, listen, everybody has the right to be able to let their voices be heard. Trust me, I understand that. But a lot of times people are teaching not from experience, but they're teaching from theory or assumptions. They're teaching from things that they assume. That's why as soon as someone says something, they start giving their assumptions. They themselves may not have been through a thing, or they may have been through a thing and it didn't work out in their favor, and they didn't really get through the thing on a positive note, so they want to teach all of the negative about the thing. But you have to learn that when you go through a thing, you grow through a thing. You've been through a thing. You've been able to walk yourself out, get yourself out of it, whether you did it on your own or whether you did it because someone coached or mentored you and they gave you some additional strategies and ways that you can get out of it. Now, if you've learned a thing, you can teach the thing. And that's why this vision mastery call is important, because these calls are designed to teach people to stretch their imaginations past their current life situations. And a lot of people are going through so many challenges these days but they don't know what to do next. People are feeling like they're stuck everywhere, all across the US and all over the world. Many people are feeling like they are stuck because so many things are happening right now in their lives. And because so many things are happening in their lives, and they can log on to their social media and they can see the things that people are going through. And rather than getting on a call and learning how to get through those situations and challenges and being on a positive note, they themselves, they have this phrase that they say a lot of time. They say that, what's that phrase that we'll say many times? We'll say that misery loves comfort, like misery loves company, but misery doesn't love company. Misery loves miserable company. And because misery loves miserable company, let me see, one more second. Let me see. What's that right there? What's that right? Oh, okay. Hold on a second. Somebody said unmute. Oh, good stuff. Hey, thank you so much for that right there. I don't even know how it got muted. I appreciate you for saying. I'm talking right now and I'm going live actually on Facebook, and I'm going live on Instagram. And I guess while I was going live on one of these platforms, it was muted out, so they couldn't hear me. You guys can hear me now. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, you guys that are here right now on the Zoom can hear me, but the people who are watching right now on Facebook couldn't hear me. The ones on Instagram couldn't hear me, because I'm in this space right now where I'm going to actually do the best that I can to give as much as I can to as many people as I can around the world. All right. Now, that's what I was saying earlier. I said that they say that misery loves company, but misery just doesn't love company. Misery loves miserable company. And because misery loves miserable company, I find, hey guys, do me a favor. I'm gonna stop this once you log back in, because I don't want this to be saved as a recording that for the first 5-10 minutes you couldn't hear nothing. All right. So I'm gonna log off. When I stop it, log right back in. I'm sorry, guys. I had to go ahead and do that and stuff, man, because I'm people logging into the broadcast. All right. And as I'm telling you guys, I'm doing the same thing I'm telling you. I want us to all be of value to people in the world. Write that down. I want you to get to the space to where you start adding more value to the world. Start adding value to the people. Listen, Corey. You have things that you know that you love, that's your hobbies, that's the things that you love. You can talk about anything that you want to talk about on social media, and those who will follow you, those who like what you like, they'll start to respond to it. They'll listen if that's who you are. You have people who are just like yourself, but you have to be willing to get out here and start to express self. So as we're doing these calls are learning to teaching you how to be expressive, right? And the reason why I'm saying that is because I've been, like I started the call off saying, many people are expressing themselves, but they're not expressing themselves because they've been through a thing on a positive note. They're expressing themselves from things they've been through on a negative note. Like I've had people all the time, they'll want to give me their advice on success and money. And I remember, listen, it was all good because back in the days with my friends, when we were standing in front of the buildings and we didn't know any better. So as I'm talking to all my friends, we all young and everybody rubbing their hands together. Yes, son, one day we're going to do this. One day we're going to do this. One day, one day, one day. They always talk about the things that one day they're going to do. And we used to always, and when I was young, I'm like, yeah, yeah, son, word, yeah, yeah, son, word. Only for many of them to never have done the thing that they were talking about. We just stand in front of the buildings and talk about all the time when we was friends. We would talk about, we would see other people move into the community. We would see other businesses being built, other nationalities. And normally it was like somebody that was of Latin American heritage. Now I understand it now that they have systems and government systems that help people from Latin American countries that they come to America. They will actually help them get started in business. These are things that happen. But back then, we would see an empty building and we would say, yeah, son, one day we're going to open up that. One day we're going to do this right here. One day, one day, one day. But one day never happened. One day happens 2 days. So vision mastery is about knowing that once you say you're going to do the thing, make it a commitment, commit to it. I'm always in study mode, right? I'm always looking to study, looking to learn, looking to become better for myself so I can become better for other people all the time. I've invested tens of thousands of dollars over the years so I can become the best version of myself so I can be able to give back to other people. All right. And many times when I've invested in programs that I spent $1,000 for, $2,000 for, 5,000, one of the things they will have you do, they will say, listen, sign this document as a letter of commitment. Sign this declaration of commitment to yourself that you're going to follow this program all the way through. If you say you're going to go through this program and have success, write this down and be committed to it. And many times, most people we will start a thing but won't finish the thing because we don't put a level of commitment. These calls that we have, this business that you're involved in, it's about growing yourself. There's people on this call right now, whether you're on the Zoom, whether you're on this live or this live here, people have gotten involved with companies and never made no money. Many of you on this call right now on the Zoom, almost all of you. I was talking to, let me see the young ladies on this call today right now. I was talking to one of you guys that's on the call right now, all right? And we had a counseling call because on the last call I had, I told everybody, I said, reach out to me, schedule time so that we can actually have a call. Only 2 people reached out. I had to say, of course, Nikki as well. She's the first one right after 3 people. She's the first one right after the call. She said, "Put your coaching hat on. I want to go through a coaching session." She was the first person. Then a few other people in the same spot. They reached out like, "Hey, I'm listening to what you said. You said to follow through, and I want to be coached." So one of my sessions we was talking about today, I was asking questions because coaching is about really asking questions. 2 things. Mentorship is me giving you life experiences, giving you strategies based on what I was able to accomplish. But also, coaching is asking you the right questions because many times the answers are already on the inside of us. We already know the answers. Most people just need to have somebody asking the right questions so you can learn to ask yourself the right questions. And that's all me and Nikki did when she put your coaching hat on. I'm like, yep. And I really asked some questions and she knew the answers herself. And she's like, you know what? That's it. As we were talking, I had the call today and I'm asking questions. And one of those things, the reason I'm saying is because as as I was talking with the person, and they were saying how much money they've made already for the week and what they normally average, what they normally make week to week. And I said, listen, I said, you're comparing what you're making right now to something else in your mindset that you're believing that you're not succeeding or not excelling, but you are. If you've learned a thing, you can teach a thing. If you've made $200, you can teach how to make $200. If you made $250, you can teach somebody to make $250 a week. Now, the thing about that is this: most people right now can use an extra $1,000 a month in income. So if you can teach a person how to earn $250 a week and they can earn an extra $1,000 a month, that skill set is valuable. that skill set is transferable. You're learning to be you become more valuable so you can bring value to the marketplace. So as I'm having that conversation and we're talking and I'm asking a question, and I'm like, I said, do you believe that's valuable? I'm like, yeah. I said, now, once you understand that, you have to own that and know, imagine if you can teach one person to do that. So you have one person earning an extra $1,000 a month or $250 a week, or in our business, we know that translates to about volume. So that means a person is normally doing about 120 in volume. If you're making about 250, by the time you buy products back, it's going to cost you like 250 or so, 225, 230. So that means you can have a little bit of profit or maybe make enough money to pay this and a few other things. But it translates to about $120, maybe 140 or $50. I'm sorry, in volume points. So I said, imagine you teach one person to do it. Then you go from one person to teaching two people to do it. Now you got two people putting back in 120 volume points a week. Because again, it works two ways. One, she had cash on hand, and then she was putting volume back in on a weekly basis. She's making money online as well. So by the time you're doing the both of the same thing every week and you're making cash on hand and you're building a business online, and as you teach me to do the same thing, and now I'm doing 250. And of course, once you learn to do it at the basic level, you can scale from there and start to scale up. So what if you teach me to do it? Then what if all of you online right now, let's say 100 of you right now, that say that you teach all 100 to do the same 120 in volume points. Right. Listen, just let me see. Where's my calculator? Get your calculators out. Right. I always tell you, just know, because I always, even though you can do it, I want you to just always say get your calculator so you can. I like to show it because something happens when the person sees it. So let's say you do 120 in volume points times 100 people. Now we already know what the answer is. That's like 12,000 in volume points. All right. That 12,000 in volume points basically means that if you're in this company or you may be in any other company, calculate whatever 12,000 in volume points may mean if you're online and you're in another company, or calculate what that would mean for us as we actually do it. 12,000 in volume means you'll be at regional director numbers. 12,000 times 17% is about an extra $2,000 that you will be making on a weekly basis. If you plus other people you taught to do just the 250. All right, times four is $8,000 a month in income extra, 8160, because you taught me and few other, and then you taught me, then I taught somebody. You taught five of us, and then we taught five. You taught 10 of us, and we taught 10. Got me? By the time you just teach a few, and then those few, because network marketing is a lot of people doing a little bit, but it all transitions, not in just network marketing, but in business. I've gotten good at doing what I do in this network marketing space because when I was doing basic sales, I was doing the same thing. Every time I learned to do a thing, I would teach a thing. We were a part of an organization of other people. We all were doing sales. We all out working. So when we come back, they will always ask, how did you make so many sales? How did you have so many results? I said, let me take you out tomorrow. Let me show you. I'm going to show you what I do. I'm going to teach you what I do. Because even though I wasn't making any money from them, if you're a part of my circle, I want us all to eat. So I was always wanting to give back and showing other people how they can eat too, how they can up their game up. Because I don't want to, you know how people like to say they want to be around like your income, is connected to the average of the five people you hang around. I don't want to hang around five people that's broke. So I want if I feel like I'm eating, I want them to eat something. We all hanging out, we all going to work. After work, we all are eating together. We all are raising together. That's how my mindset. Well, let me make sure everybody can eat. And when you put that in your mindset to make sure that you help every person start to eat, you teach five to make 250. Teach those five to teach five to get 250. I know we all look for the big numbers, but the big number is going to come. I just showed you how you get to 12,000. If you got 100 people, but the 100 came from you teaching five, who taught five, who taught five. By the time you look up, you got 100 something people in your organization. Everybody's doing a minimum. Now, then again, but you also got to remember it's going to compound. The first few five may be only doing that, but now you also start earning more income, more revenue by helping more people. The reason why I'm saying that, guys, because you have to understand that there's a level of what happens when it comes to having a breakthrough. I have a 12-month coaching program that I have, right? And going into month 4 is when I start going into breakthrough. And breakthrough is when I start talking to people. After I give a lot of basic things in the very first 3 months, is really talking about identity and the other things that I help people over, having awareness of certain things and where they are in their lives and how they look at the situations. But breakthrough comes by the time I get to month 4. And again, it's just learning and practicing and showing people, because I spent the first couple of months talking about emotions and the state and the energy and all this other things. And by the time it gets to breakthrough, the reason why I say that is this call has to be a breakthrough call for you. It has to be a time at any given moment when you decide that that's your breakthrough moment. That's your breakthrough time. That this is the time. And now when it comes to that, there's 3 things. Write this down. There's 3 things I want you to focus on, and you understand that helps a person go through a breakthrough. And I trained on this. It's been a while since I covered it, but I'm gonna talk about it again today. All right. And there's 3 things that a person I want you to think about when it comes to you having a breakthrough yourself, right? And the first thing when it comes to having a breakthrough, matter of fact, let me give it to the way that my mentor gave it. He said, even though I gave it to you guys the first way, I'm gonna give it to you guys in reverse order. Because a lot of times what people are looking for when it comes to a breakthrough, they thinking the breakthrough is going to come in a strategy. So the third thing that you're gonna be looking for is a strategy. Write that down. That's the third thing, a strategy. Now I'm going to in reverse because it's going to actually be in reverse order. Now, strategy, I say that first because most people they look for a strategy. They look to say, tell me what to do. Tell me how. Tell me that one thing that I need in order for me to be able to transform my money, transform my bank account, because this is the thing about strategy. When it comes to people who are this studies, statistics, everything that shows that there's a certain amount of people who are overweight. And they even said that it's getting closer to a tipping point to where the numbers are rising, that there's a certain amount of people, more people are 100 pounds overweight. And then from 100 pounds being overweight, they get the next step is like obesity. Now, the reason why I say that is this: when it comes to strategies, we hear strategies all day long on how to lose weight, what to do, how to work out. Nick, listen, Nick does videos all the time, showing people what to do, how to lose weight, how to work out. She's showing workout exercises. Those are strategies. If the strategies was the only thing that people need, we will all be slim. We will all be, if the only thing that we needed was just a strategy. We can give a strategy all day long. People get on a call, and because they don't hear the strategy of what they think of the strategy, or I can literally give you the strategy. But this thing about the strategy, I can give it to you, but when you give somebody the strategy, they'll hear it, and I can tell you my story and my results, my success from using these strategies. But in your mindset, you still be like, how? I hear the strategy, but how can I apply that? How's that going to work for me? How can I do it? And so now, because you're not operating the way I operate the strategy knowing for a fact that it's going to work. You're operating the strategy that I give you with doubt, uncertainty. I'm not sure. So we're not operating the same strategy with the same thoughts, which is the second thing when it comes to breakthrough. Like I said, I'm giving you in verse order. The third thing is strategy. That's the last thing that we should be looking for, but most people look for that first. The second thing is story. So the reason why I say that is because it's the stories that we say, the stories that we tell ourselves, the stories that we give to ourselves and we give to others. A lot of times we give the stories, and the stories be excuses. The stories sound like excuses. Now in your mindset there's a story, but to everybody else you're telling a story to, it sounds like hogwash, or it sounds like it's an excuse, because you're saying the story. And the reason why I couldn't do it is because it is, I was about to do this, but this happened. I was about to come, but this happened. I was about to go to this right here, but this person died. This person's in the hospital. This thing got sick. This car broke down. I had to do work this job. I literally did a call on Saturday. And as we did the call on Saturday, let me see something. Somebody said they can't hear me. Can you guys hear me? You can hear me? Thumbs up. Michelle, it may be you, something on your phone. Everybody said they can hear me. All right. So the thing is, we did the call on Saturday, and while Patricia was at work coaching, doing what she does as a basketball coach and referee, she's able to find a time and a moment to get on the call. And she was still, despite the fact that see, the average person would have told me, well, I can't get on the call because, I got to work. And I get it. Trust me, I understand it. But despite the fact that it was work, she still found a time and a moment to make sure, get somebody else to handle something so she can make sure she still showed up at that moment. Kevin was literally in the aisle at his job in the aisle. Like I'm like, yo, let me hurry and let you get go because you literally at work with your work vest on, dropping knowledge in the aisles. You know what I'm saying? While you at work. But the thing is this, he was still at work. He still finding time to show up for that call. But you have somebody else who said, the reason why I couldn't get on the calls is because of this. I've had people like even like birthdays. Normally birthdays, I'll still pop on it's a 30-minute call. I'll pop on a quick call for 30 minutes. It'll be a birthday. I'll pop on a call and do something really quickly. Close that. Hey, come on, quickly. You gotta move quickly. You see, I'm on the phone. I see I'm working, bro. You gotta quickly make it on through. My grandson is walking in. You gotta quickly, don't you gotta be quick with it. Don't be, yeah, thank you. All right. So in this process and stuff, man. So when you understand this thing, when you understand it's the stories you tell ourselves, it's the stories that every time it's time to go someplace, it's time to show up to an event, we start saying these stories. We keep now in the moment, we'll give all these great things that we want to do. We'll say all the great things that we want to accomplish, all the great things we want to achieve. We'll say that in the moment. But as soon as the mood that you set it in when you was hyped up, oh yeah, we about to change it. I'm about to smash the game. I'm like, we like people like say, I'm gonna kill it. All these things that we will say, we will give all this stuff when we in this state, which is the first thing. All right, so the state, story, strategy. We'll give the stuff in the state that we give it in, but then we'll start to go into the story. This is which is why we go into the story of why we can't show it, which is why I said, yes, I can give you a strategy. But if the story you keep giving yourself is, I would do this, but this is going to happen. I would come over here, but I will show up, but I would make this happen, but I would join this business, but I would change my life. But if you keep going into that process right there, you're never going to have the results that you need to have because the story you keep giving these. Listen, there's a pattern that typically happens. There's a pattern in success. There's a pattern for winning, and there's a pattern for losing. And many people, they don't learn to pay attention and recognize the patterns. So and when you start telling your stories and your stories always get you the same pattern, or a person always says, man, every time I turn around, there's always a problem. Every time I turn around, I'm always having a situation. Hey, what's going on, Ms. Brown? Every time I turn, every time, if that's how you constantly keep saying, that's a story you tell yourself all the time, then of course, no matter what strategy someone gives you, it's not going to work. I can tell you to do 4 events. I can tell you to schedule the calls. I can say all these things, but if you start giving the story of why I can't and what won't work, it won't happen. So yes, number one is state, and state is that emotional feeling that you have. So when it comes to having a breakthrough, you got to ask yourself what state, because the emotions control your thoughts and control your actions, everything else out that you have. So if you're not feeling like it, you don't want to show up. If you say that you're going to make some things happen, but you really like, I don't know. I'm really not in the mode. I'm not in the right state of mind. I don't really know if I want to do it. So you got to learn something inside yourself. You have to figure out a way that you get your energy up, that you get your belief up, that you get yourself excited, whether it's through music, whether it's clapping your hands, whether it's standing up, whether it's saying something exciting. You got to figure out something in a way that can get you to change your state. And sometimes we change our state through music. Sometimes we change our state in our physiology. I'm saying that means when you stand up, you change our state when you step, when you get your Superman pose on, Corey. When you sit back and you have see that's why we see a lot of times when people they in their mind, you see all these executives, they have in their mindset, they have their hands like this because they have this posture that they have, because in their mindset they have this state of mind. They control how they feel, and they control how they feel. So in their mindset, that's their presence. But there's something that happens when you start to do those things. There's something that starts to happen when you learn to control your breathing. You learn to breathe deeply. You learn to put your shoulders back and you put your head up and you walk into it. So when you say you want change, you say you want a breakthrough, what energy that you are you saying in it? You can't expect a breakthrough, because thing about a breakthrough is going to be something that's going to happen for you, or something happens to you, or something that happens inside you that's going to cause you to trigger it. So I want you to write this down. Ask yourself this. If you have had a breakthrough in your life before, what was the trigger? Write that down. Write down what was your trigger. Think about a breakthrough, a time that you had a breakthrough in your life, and what was the trigger for that breakthrough? Whether that trigger was a circumstance or situation, whether that breakthrough was I'm just sick and tired of being, I mean, that moment. I want you to think about what triggered it. What was it that triggered that thing for you to have that breakthrough? That transitioned something inside you that you say, you know what, I'm just not doing it. Because I remember myself, I always when I was given that same exercise, the first thing I thought about was when, and I've told the story many times before. I remember when I was outside. I was actually outside on the porch out there, and I said the story before. And I remember I would. It was the first time that I had a a, a breakthrough. Then I had another breakthrough the second time when I actually met with someone. But the first time it was just something on the inside, because I was standing outside and I was doing network marketing in the same space, and I had come to realize that every time I would get to a certain time, whether it was 30 days or 60 days, I would always quit. I would always stop. Because the reason why I was always doing this is a story that I always say, it was a story, but the story was tied into my life, was after 60 days, because I had a mortgage and I knew that you can be 30 days behind, you can be 60 days behind. You get to being 90 days behind and you can't pay and catch up. And they now all of a sudden you hit 90 days, they're gonna lock all it in together. And now you got to come up with the entirety of it, or you're going to be in a foreclosure. So because I understood that process, because I come from a background of poverty, when you come from a background of poverty, poverty has its own self-perpetuating logic. We so used to robbing Peter to pay Paul and other things. We come up with strategies and learn the due by dates. This is due by this date. This is due by that date. We don't pay things on the day of. We pay them by our due by date. It's due by the 7th. It's due by that means you got it's due on the first. But in your mindset, you got into the 10th before it cuts off. It's due by the 3rd, but you got into the 11th or 12th before it's cut off. So we normally start to operate on a due by date. And I knew that my due by date for being in foreclosure was that if you had a rental property, you may only have 1 month and some change, maybe half a month and a half before they start applying papers. A mortgage, you may have 2, 3 months before they would actually lock it in. So I always knew that I can go the first month, 30 days, I can go 60 days, but I could not get to 90 days and not have money that I paid for at least one mortgage payment. So I remember that was a habit that I did. I would always work something 60 days, 30 days, 60 days, and I would see results, but not enough for me to just stop doing what I was doing. And I remember it was like yesterday, it's probably like almost 27, 28 years ago. I remember I was outside, right outside here, and I'm thinking, I said, you know what? I said, no. I said, this time I'm gonna go, because I kept hearing my mentor say you're 90 days. Well, they didn't say you're 90 days away from the, I always say you're 90 days away from the decision you make today. I created that myself, but I heard my mentor always say be on a 90-day run. If you do it for 90 days, you can see results. 90 days is going to compound. And I knew the 90-day compound effect was real, because every time I would go away for 30, 60 days, I would stop. I would go back, do something. I would come back, work inside the team. Everybody who was there, when I come back, they excel to another level. I'm starting all over again from scratch because I kept stopping. I would not follow the guidelines for 90 days. I kept stopping. And life got in the way. That was life. And when I kept doing that, I finally said to myself outside, I was like, no. Because I remember I was about to do, I was like, damn, I'm running behind. I got to make this money. I got to catch back up. If I don't make this money, I'm going to go into foreclosure. And I was like, no. You know why? Because I already had been in foreclosure before. I already had got to the point where I let it get behind before. I already got to the point where I had to come up with $20,000 to catch up what it was going to take that. I hadn't been through all this process. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna, I'm like, no, I'm gonna see this thing for 90 days straight, 90 days. And that was the first time that I finally said, I'm gonna work for 90 days and I'm not gonna stop. And something happened. As it got to that close to that 90 days, I started seeing like after that 60 days, 45, 60, 70 something days, things started happening, started transitioning. Within 90 days, it was like crazy. Like it was like a big jump. It went from me trying to figure it out to boom, 1,000 a week, boom, $1,500, 2,000. I was like, yo, I had never did that before. Not in this space right here. I was doing it, working, doing sales, but like doing sales, working at some sales place, but doing business for myself. I had never done it working sales in the network because back then we wasn't really selling a lot of the products. You make more money by recruiting people at the time. Now you can make a lot more money just by actually selling the products. And I said, yes, I'm going to push through. And when I pushed through, that was my first breakthrough that I understood for me. That if I have stick to itiveness, if I let this be the one thing that I stop starting and stopping before I started having results. If my mentor told me that it would take this much time, I decided to stop only giving it half of the time. I decided to stop giving it some of the time. And I decided that I wanted to have that lasting change. And it changed how I started showing up when it comes to consistency. Another breakthrough I had when it came to finances was when I was doing what I was doing. I was making I learned how to make 1,000 a week once I decided I was going to push through. But I was working with a gentleman, and his name was George. And George and I were doing the same type of business. And he was doing like $500,000 a year. And I said, George, what are you doing? I said, we're doing the same thing. I said, I'm not even doing a six-figure income. I said, you're doing like $500,000. Yes. What are you doing? He said, I'll give you some pointers. And I said, I don't want pointers. Pointers got me broke. Pointers or your thinking and my thinking combined. You give a person come from the hood, come from the streets, never had nothing, never really came, nothing really big like that. You give me pointers. The first thing I'm gonna think about is, yeah, let me see how I can freak that. Let me see how I can work that, how I can try to take a shortcut. We start trying to think because that's where we come from. We always figuring out ways of how to come. We try to figure things out. I couldn't help it. I grew up on welfare. I grew up on using government assistance and other stuff. That's finding shortcuts and other ways to help. And if I can't get it, go to the government for government help. If I can't get it, go to the church and get some money. If I can't get it, go and see what's available, unemployment. If I can't get it, I will always be in that space when I'm like, yo, George, I don't want to do it that way no more. It got me broke. Broke is your thinking and my thinking. And I don't want to use my thinking. So then my second breakthrough came from me understanding that I can operate from somebody else's experiences. And when I took him to lunch turned to dinner. I'm asking questions. I asked so many questions that by the time I finished, I said, listen, I'm gonna start doing that. And I instantly started doing what he told me he was doing. Within 30 days, I was at 5,000 a week, then 6,000 a week, then 7,000, $8,000 a week in income. I had never done that before, but I followed the success systems of someone who was doing what it is that I wanted to do without adding in, yeah, but normally when I do it, yeah, I was going to do it, but I was trying to do it, but I decided to stop doing this. I decided to start following the success systems of a coach and a mentor and doing exactly what the mentor said, utilizing his results, his experiences, knowing because when I was asking questions, I was asking why they do that, how the people responded, when they responded that way, how did you respond? I'm learning how he was talking to people, same people I'm talking to, what he was doing, how he was showing up. I was asking all these questions. He told me the answers. I started doing what he was doing. I started having those results. That was a breakthrough for myself. My second breakthrough I had, and that's what got me to the point to where I started knowing that I can make six figures. I was now a six-figure income earner. Prior to that, I used to always think about six figures. And then I understood how to get there. And then from that point, everything else been compounded since that time in life. Yes, ups and downs. Yes, things can come and go. It's business and it's life. Things can get in the way. Things, it's just what it is. And I understand it. But for you, I want you, as you on this call today, and you think about your own breakthrough, what were something that you had, what was the breakthrough that you had for yourself? Because I want you to be able to revisit it and get back to it and try to remind yourself of how you was able to have that breakthrough and what triggered it for you that put you in that state of mind when you was like, listen, I'm not going back. It's going to change. I'm never going to do this again. I'm going to make this thing happen. What was that happened for you that made you feel different? Because I want you to find that tonight for yourself. Because as we go into this next phase, as we get better, as we start to implement these strategies and these goals and the things that we talked about, as we close out this month right here, I want you got to ask yourself, what are you going to be committed to? When is it going to be your breakthrough time? When is it going to be your time to stop watching everybody else and start participating? When's it going to be your time to stop hiding behind avatars and stop hiding behind your pictures on the screen and stop hiding behind? I was on a call for 3 days. I was on a training and I talked about it years back. I remember being on a similar thing years back, like 800,000 people on a call. And the majority of them didn't look like me. They wasn't my color, nothing. But they was on a call and they was all learning how they can go online and make money online and things like that. And I was on another call for 3 days. And I'm same thing. I'm looking at all the colors. I'm almost 1 million people on the calls. And as I'm looking at all the people on the Zooms in the different groups, because because you had the YouTube that was going, then you had the different groups. And the different groups I'm inside of, I'm scrolling, looking around. I'll go through page after page after page after page and find one look like me. Page to page to page to page to page. Nobody else look like me. So it's two, two, two people who decided that look like me, who decided they want to be able to be in this presence, in this environment, in this type of energy where they can learn how to tap into technology and how they can be able to expand themselves and grow themselves, be more than themselves. But then not only was it like that, they once you went through the 3 days, they always go from the 3 days of free information, which like me, I'll give so much free information that by the time you meet me, you're going to pay for the coaching, you're going to pay for the retreats, you're going to pay for the other things or you're going to invest into yourself and all these other things. But I'll over deliver all the time. I'll give as much as I can. Every time I do an event, I'll give everything of who I am. I'll over deliver. Nobody can ever say. We had a challenge that we had recently, a director challenge. I was giving more. I know I was giving more. I wasn't just giving just the very least. I was doing my very best. I was giving everything, all that I am, because that's who I am. I'm going to always over deliver. But in my process of doing all those things right there, as I'm looking at other people on the call, I'm on this call and they over delivering. At the end, they still will say, now, if you want to go to this next level, now, if you want to actually participate in this, now it's going to be an extra $1,000 or this right here to be a part of this right here and use this right here. And I'm watching that out of all that right there. When I get on to the next call, for those who invested that, everybody else on that call, again, they don't look like me, but they all invested an extra $1,000. I'm talking about tens of thousands of people. You know what that means? People, the economy, yeah, but people still got money to invest, to learn how to grow themselves, to start a business, to learn how to be successful. People got money. So if your story that you keep thinking that nobody got the money, it's a lie. It's a damn lie. I'm literally looking at people on social media all the time. They at concerts. Them concerts wasn't no, you thought it was $2.50 to get in a damn concert? No, no, no. They invested mortgages and rent money, other stuff to go to a damn concert. But then when it comes to starting a business, they want to come up with all these excuses and stories of why they got to start at the bottom. Never been a job interview they went to that they said that I'm the type of person like to start at the bottom, kind of see if it works. I don't really believe that it works. No, they will get there and they'll sell their souls on why you need to hire me, and I'm going to be here every day to help your business succeed. But then when it comes to themselves, they'll find a reason why not. So what story are you telling yourself? So I want to make sure you guys understand that if you want to have this breakthrough, we finish this call. Find a song, find something that can change your state. Stand up, get excited, find some energy. Which is whether it's clap, whether it's touching your body, feeling yourself, feeling something, whatever you got to do. I need you to get yourself into the right state, and a state that you say, listen, I am worthy. I am enough. I'm more than enough. Don't go, I can't. No, I am. I will. This is me. Put it in your mindset that this is the moment in time that you're going to lock in. And once you decide you want to lock in, we always give strategies. I always tell you and give you strategies on things to do. So as I end this call, I need you to get back to your same strategies. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock, you guys should be scheduling the call for yourself. If you're working a full-time job, schedule something on your calendar at 7 o'clock tomorrow. for yourself. No, not me doing it for you. You schedule something on your own, a call that you can do. I don't care if you're meeting somebody through WhatsApp, meeting a person through Google Meets, have you want to do schedule a one-on-one with somebody that you can that I'm gonna meet somebody. If you got more time, you can schedule two people tomorrow, schedule two people. Schedule two times in your calendar tomorrow or four times this week. That you listen, I know I just gave you the strategy. I just said all this other stuff and still gave you the strategy that can literally change your life. You know how I know it can change your life? Because we did a call on Saturday with a bunch of people from Africa who just literally said that we just got started in the company. We was able to hit the ranks of directors and rising star and almost executive in the first week. You know how they did it? Because they wasn't doing four damn meetings a week. They was doing four, five, six a day. They compounded inside of 1 week what many people haven't done in months. All they did was exactly what I'm saying to you. Matter of fact, I know the young lady who's the leader, and I remember her saying the story. So, you know what? I remember, and when I asked her the question, how was it that you in a country that most people don't do a six-figure income? That's you like a millionaire doing six figures. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, let me see something here. Let me see something here. Let me see. Let me see. Let's say 100,000. Let's say time. Let me see something. Let's say 100,000 income for us could be like seven. It's almost like doing a person earning 700, $800,000. The type of life I remember being in Africa, paying for a whole table full of people eating, and I spent less than $80 for everybody. A meal that would probably cost me five, six, $800, some with all the stuff that we was eating. I'm literally, excuse me, I'm literally in Africa paying for all this food. It's like $80. So I'm listening to the ladies who made 100,000. Then she helped three other people do 100,000 in income, six figures in Africa, in a country where the average person is equivalent to where I remember being out there and I would I would tip $5 or $10, like in their money. And people be coming flying out after restaurants after me crying. Oh my God, thank you. Because it would take them all day or days to make the extra money. I tipped a few times, I would tip $50. People literally chase me down as I'm leaving out, leaving $50 with somebody, or $25 and then cash. And I'm leaving it after I eat or something. And they be crying. And it's because they not making it. So how can a country where people make five to six, seven times less than what we make here, but yet they got enough, they say they're gonna start their business and everybody was starting their business with a product pack. No, not a product, not just get in and get yourself in. They always starting with a product pack. And they start with a product pack with enough volume for them to get in and rank up and have some results and have some success and make money in fast starts and make money in residuals and make money in check match bonuses. And when I asked her that question years ago, I said, how are you able to get to six figures and help other people in about 6, 8 months? She said, because my coach told me we have to learn to do 4 meetings and 4 appointments a week. But I thought he said 4 a day. I heard he said a week, but for some reason, my mind heard 4 a day. So I, plus all of my team members, we were just scheduling it for a day. Then we would make appointments, we put it on a calendar, and we would find people to put in the calendar. And we were going to people physically. And then now it's her. Then now she got 10, then 20, then 100, all out doing 4 and 5 a day. So they're able to transition and transform their life in about 3, 6, 9 months. They was able to do in 6 months what people haven't been able to do here in a year, 2 or 3, 4, 5 years doing the same thing. Because when they understood it, the state that they was in was like, yo, I need this and I'm going to make this thing happen. They got so excited about the opportunity that once they got excited about the opportunity, they was like, listen, I know I can make this thing work. They put it in their mindset. The story of their life was like, listen, I'm gonna change my situation. I've been looking for something like this, not just for the moment. Oh my God, it's in my prayers, and next week you back. No, they saw for what it was, put together work and then use the strategy, doing multiple times a day, they talking to people and meeting people and doing presentation with people. And that's why he's able to break so many directors and have people. And already, I'm looking at the numbers already. They're already a couple of thousand in volume points already. And it's the weekend. You know why? Because they were weekend warriors. Same thing, same strategy we've been teaching. Be weekend warriors. Meet people to the weekend. Their numbers are already at multiple thousands already, and it's Sunday. You know why? Because they went to work Friday, they went to work Saturday, they went to work Sunday. Same strategy we talk about, and we teach. They've been working. So the question you got to ask yourself is, what are you going to do for your own breakthrough? What are you going to do to have the results that you need to have for yourself and your family? What are you going to do today different than you've done before? I've given you some actionable steps to take to go out there and schedule things and then call people and tell them to meet you. Meet me on Zoom, meet me on one-on-one, meet me on Google Meets, meet me on WhatsApp, meet me on video call. Call me, just call and just have a conversation and go through a presentation with people and have some appointments made and watch how you start to transition and transform your life. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to give you those things so you can focusing on changing your state, the story that you tell yourself, and you guys know the strategies in order to go out here and make some things happen. Use the strategies. Get out here and make this a great week for yourself. Make this a great day for yourself. Don't just get up the call and don't. I even told you to get up the call and just get yourself into the right state of mind. Find the music, find the song, find the present. Put yourself into the right energy. Get up the call and do it. Stand up and put yourself into that space. You don't have to. You don't have to. What story you going? I'm too cool for that. That's a story you tell yourself. I tell my son back in the days, you could be cool and broke. Don't go. They tend to go hand in hand. You want to be cool, so cool in school, and then by the time you get to 20, 25, 30 years old, you're too broke. You want to be too cool in school. I said, so cool and broke tend to go hand in hand. Stop trying to be the coolest one and go ahead and learn some skill sets and learn how to become better. And this is your time and your moment to do the same thing for yourselves. Before I wrap up the call, to have any leader, any person have any last minute comments, statements, anything they want to share before we're done? I mean, your mics and we're gonna be done.
Mr. Scott,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to talk really low because you already know Mr. Elijah is around.
Mhm.
So I have to be extra
I got
extra
you.
quiet, right? I want to say, thank you for such an amazing training this evening. Definitely, you know, realizing that where we are and where we can be and how our emotions are tied into how we think, how we feel, how we move, how we act, all of that matters. But the power that we have to put ourselves in the right state, no matter what stories we're telling ourselves, we can create a new story at any time.
Mhm.
Like we can literally just say, okay, this is my story. We have the pen, right? We are the authors of our own stories. So we can, like, it doesn't matter what happened in the past, moving forward in the future, in the right now, we can start to just create our own story. And based off of what stories we're creating for ourselves, that will determine what our outcome is going to be. So now is the time to create a whole new story, right?
Mhm.
Like literally we have the power right here, creating our new story. So just getting in the right state, the right emotions is so important for this next run, these next 30 days, next 60 days, next 90 days, right? Just putting yourself in that right frame of mind. But also before I go, I wanted to say, you know, we have been training, the same things, right? Because as you said, success has patterns, right?
Mhm.
And I want to bring up Miss Monica, all right? And it kind of ties into what we're talking about, right? I wanted to bring up Miss Monica because she had her home event today, right? And for whatever reason, I wasn't able to get there. I know the reason. I wasn't supposed to get there. Okay.
Mhm.
And she could no longer hide behind anything, right? You
Mhm.
said, how long will it take for you to step out? How long will you keep hiding, right? Well, sometimes the universe has a way of making sure you stop hiding. So she couldn't hide anymore, right? We already know that this is a numbers game and we give you the strategies. We give you the strategies. You know, when you start to do a thing, a ratio appear. You invite a certain amount of people, half are going to show up. Well, Miss Monica had 50 confirmations to her home party. She had 30 people show up. I wasn't able to do the presentation. She did the presentation herself because she had no other choice. She couldn't hide anymore. And because of that, she was able to earn, I ain't gonna tell you how much money she made, but she made a whole lot of money. Okay. So I say all that to say sometimes you can no longer hide. When you ask for a thing and you really want that thing, when it shows up, stop hiding and just go for it, right? The universe will always reward you. All right. So that's all I wanted to add. And I'll turn the call back over to you. I kind of feel like that man from that show that used to come on when you only seen the top of his head.
Right. Uh-huh. I got you. No worries. I got you.
But
I know
thank
you
you.
gotta be
And
quiet.
I'll turn the call back over to you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate you as well, and congratulations to Miss Monica. Matter of fact, she sent me the text because when she called me, she called me several times, but actually I had a scheduled training call myself, so I was on training for like the last several days. So I got up this morning. I was on a training call, training with some of the best people in the industry when it comes to business and success. And so by the time I got a chance to get to her, I'm like, hey, I saw you reached out to me, um what's going on, what you need me for. And then but she ain't hit me back. I didn't hear back from him for a long time. By the time she hit me back, she said, hey, what happened was, Miss Nikki couldn't make it. I couldn't get you on the phone call, so I had this many people show up. I had did the call right here, I did this right here. And she said, the first thing she says, I want to do it again. I said, there you go. That's what happens. That's what I'm talking about. As soon as you're able to see that you can do it and live, you can have results and still be living. All you got to do is continue on with that process. Make a decision that you're going to do the thing. Once you say you're going to become a champion, a winner, a champion, you're going to hit your goals, do the work necessary. Nobody can do it for you. When we keep doing it ourselves, we have a job. When other people do it, then that's when we got a business. But when we coach and we mentor people, it has to be a time you go from being a mentee to a mentor. A time that you go from being that person where you learn to take some action. Don't be an actor. Say put some action behind that right there and go out here. She wasn't just decided to be an actor no more. She decided to put some action behind that and got the results that she was looking for. So I already know she made well over $500 today. I mean, people work at their job for a week, and make 500. Work for several days and make 500. People making $100 a day work 5 days to bring in extra 500. So to be able to do that today, to be able to learn how to be able to be her own boss and have the results. All right. Congratulations, young lady. Super excited and proud of you as well. I see Miss Elin, you had your hand up. There's something you want to better share before we done?
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear
Yes,
me,
loud and
Miss?
clear. Uh-huh.
All right, so I wanted to go back to what you said. The do by date, the do by date is also like the get by date. Like you just doing just enough to get by, and then it's like you keep doing the same thing over and over again. And when you say that, it's like once you make a decision to say, I don't want to just get by, then you step into a whole nother rim. And so um, just being open to saying you said something about the strategy, like you'll give all the strategies but everybody doesn't utilize, like you hear it but then you don't go and apply it to
Mhm.
your life, the change. And when you talked about I don't want to be, you said outside your house, I don't want to go through this again, what's going to be that trigger, what's going to be that thing? Like life looks real different. I tell people all the time, once I made some decisions last year, my life don't look nothing like it used to look
Mhm.
like it really don't. And so you have to make the decision that I want a life that don't look like nobody else's life, but I want something more that you couldn't even ever imagine. So no more get by due dates. We want to do more so we can have more. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Yes, young lady, listen, I appreciate you. And you said a lot in that process. And that's exactly right. Once a person decides that they want more, decision is something when you decide you want to cut off. Once you have, whether you have an incision, it takes a cutting. Decision takes cutting. It's going to require you to cut some things off. And once you decide that you're going to cut some things off in order to have the things you want to have, you got to decide you're going to stick to that. and make it happen. I remember we had those conversations when you first was getting started. You told me back then you want to change. We had the counseling calls and the coaching sessions. You were saying what you wanted to be able to do, and we was talking about a variety of different ways of how you could transition. So of course, your life is how you was saying it back then. You didn't want the same. You was tired of having the same old, same old. And here it is a year later, and your life, like you said, looks totally different than what it was a year ago. So I appreciate you for sharing, guys. Always remember, guys, that all we got to do is follow the systems, follow the strategies, control how you feel about a thing, control your state. Think about your state that you're saying a thing in. Just to make a decision that once you say you're going to do the thing, stop with the crazy stories that you give yourself and why you can't succeed. And then, of course, once you know the strategies, implement the strategies, because the strategies are proven results, proven experience. And if you follow the experience of someone who have had great results, you can have similar or better results. I love each and every one of you guys who logged onto the call tonight. And just know that I'm going to be here to walk alongside you every step of the way. But I can't carry you. I can't drag you. You must take the leap of faith and exercise all the things that you know that you need to have in your life. Exercise it, practice it, and go out here and achieve it. You guys have a great and a powerful new you. Unmute your mics and say good night, everybody.
Good night,
Good night,
everyone.
Unity.
Good night. Good night.
Night.
Good night,
Good night.
everybody.
Congratulations again, Miss Monica.